took a little bit longer than expected, but hey, how you doing, Patch?
I mean, I'm out here, dude. We still alive, and I'm just ready to get into some PUBG. Not gonna lie, I'm sure that's how everyone else is feeling. So let's just jump into it.
Yep. Here we go. So as you guys can see, we are right here on the players from Gun, and quite a few teams still remaining. 13 teams out of the 16 that we had initially starting off this match. So yeah, now just waiting to see what is going to happen and who's going to go where.
Yeah, we've had some interesting things happening around here. We had a couple of teams dropping into that military base, a couple of people all over the place. Southern western zone, so all the teams having moved up in there. Most of them got into that first one pretty happily. They've been fighting it out ever since. So right now we're sitting with 46 players remaining, a lot of them concentrated all the way down towards the bottom, just above that western bridge. Plenty of teams just hovering around at the moment, basically just waiting for that zone to come in. All of them sort of just setting themselves up here. You can see, of course, the players from I believe this is Spaza Six, just having a look and seeing what's going on around them.
Yeah, well, let's see what they will do. I mean, hopefully we can get some more action, you know, as like you mentioned, there's been quite a bit of action already in the game, and we just now, well, this is the players here from Spaza Six. They're closing in on the team there from the eXiles. We just saw Gun off in the distance. Here we go, Nukes putting a quick hit into Coco. Several more teams all around, and this zone is just getting smaller and smaller. So yeah, dude, it's going to be a little bit of a tough one, seeing what's going to happen in these next few coming rounds.
Yeah, so right now it's Gun putting off some hits over towards Spaza Six, who are right in front of the eXiles, who are of course sitting right there in front of them. So we could potentially see if these teams want to wipe one another out. Obviously, it'd be nice just to get those hits in, try and lessen the lobby. Right now, that zone is going to be dropping, and it goes all the way towards the north, which means those teams are going to have to start rotating up. And it does mean that the eXiles are in a pretty decent position here, because if Spaza Six try and push up, they can always capitalize on that. So right now, it really depends on how these players now react.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens, and hopefully maybe we can you know, get some more of that action going. Let's see. Hoping for the best, as quite a few teams, you know, with that zone shift, of course, now needing to rotate up, and we see Temper already pulling up, moving right into that position. We got the players, of course, there from you know, the eXiles just on the side, closing in from that southwestern side. So waiting to see what these teams are going to do.
Yeah, right now we've got Gun moving up in towards Ekasi, who are already inside the outskirts of the zone. Might just want to take a little bit of a U-turn there as they realize that place is absolutely packed. You can see the shots now flying in as the natural killers trying to make their way up. Of course, Spaza Six going to be just taking those shots off. Nice rotates all across the board there. You can see now the shots ringing out here. Everyone trying to make it up. That southern portion just looking absolutely packed.
Yeah, it is not, well, not just quite packed, it is almost hella packed, as there's so many teams. Well, just look at the amount of players that we can see from this side.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. And then, of course, now Temper also popping in a few hits, and we've got the players there from DKGaming also just off in the distance over towards that northeast, putting those shots in. So the team here from Vibe trying to get those reses going. Oh. So we got Tempo over in the north, we got Vibe, of course, right over here, we got the eXiles closing in, we got the players from DKGaming just off to the side. So it is gonna be a super tough one just in this section of the map. As you can see, quite a lot of the teams still moving in, but the shots are moving up. Oh, Nukes sending that quick gren in, finishing them off. Wowzers.
Yeah. That was a nuke of a gren right there that he tossed in, and still putting the hits in. The eXiles just throwing their sights this way and that, going to be putting the hits into Odyssey next, who are just ahead of them, trying to get through, passing right by Temper as well, so they're going to be taking some hits. Trying to make their way up into the zone that is at the moment unpopulated there in towards the north, except of course Juicy up there for the natural killers. The rest of the team is very concentrated around the southern portion, just setting themselves up, trying not to get taken out.
Yeah, well, it's been a really tough one for the teams just to get up into this part. I mean, looking at this section, as you can see, we got the players from Spaza Six right up on the hill here. We got Odyssey down to, well, pretty much their last play. We got the players there from DKGaming, of course, on the bottom side of that hill, just popping those shots off, trying to get those heads going. So, yeah, ooh, Reluctant also now sneaking a quick few hits in over towards the Dark Dragons there.
Yeah, all these teams trying to put some shots in there, trying to get those hits and get some kills. And really, one of the things I want to highlight, actually, that just came to my mind is just before the rotations up into the zone, we had, I believe it was Spaza Six and the eXiles who were sitting right on top of one another, you know, ready to take some fights. And when that zone shifted up north, it forced them to make a decision. And it's really, really interesting because most of the players that might just think that staying there is a really good idea. eXile's having, of course, the advantage. They're waiting for Spaza Six to push up, but instead the eXiles actually immediately rotated up into the zone. They just completely disengaged from the fight and moved up. And I think that's like a super, super big brain move because a lot of teams actually, they get caught up fighting outside the zone, and by the time they're done or by the time they're nearing completion, they're getting caught inside the blue zone. They get taken out for no reason. So yeah, I think that's a really good move. That's something that we need to see a little bit more of.
Well, talking about some aggression though with the players here from Spaza Six just rushing in right over towards Rain Gaming, taking quite a bit of damage. We still have Staples and Berserk left, putting a few more hits in. We've got Genesis and Squeak now for the Rain Gaming team there. So hopefully, they might just be able to clutch this. Unless, of course, the players here from Spaza Gaming starts moving in. Staples now getting hit with that vehicle explosion. There we go. Up comes Berserk just rushing in, putting those hits in. Genesis moving up. Ooh, and down they go. What a beautiful play that was.
Yeah, that was a little bit close, a little bit too close for comfort there, but ultimately they're going to come out on top of that one. Rain gets sent back to the lobby. The rest of the teams moving up north with that zone, which has landed up there towards the north. All the teams in the southern part of that zone just stacking up. Once again, of course, you have the eXiles who made their way in quickly. Reluctant there as well. The DROGON Dragons up there as well. With the rest of the teams now moving in. NiBBLE Odyssey making their way in. Temper as well. And, well, Juicy's still up there towards the north, just by his lonesome, not really getting involved right now, which is pretty much the best play that he could make at this point. And, yeah, I guess now we're just waiting for the teams to roll on up and start getting those things started once again.
Yeah, well, we're seeing the players there from, this, of course, being the players from Phoenix Prodigy, putting a few hits in towards the Reluctant team as they are trying to push up a hill. Dizzy landing a quick one into Flacco. Now we are left with Mr. Shady. Shady being, I think, is the last one. Yes, he is the last one left for the team here. So waiting to see now what is going to happen. Will Phoenix be able to pull it off? Will Prodigy get that hit? Oh, quick green coming in, taking out Flacco. Off he goes. So Shady taking quite a bit of damage in the process here. Oh, Shakes now landing the finishing blows. Well done.
Yeah,
we go.
a nice
10
wipe.
teams.
Very, very nice indeed. Definitely some nice aggression coming out of Phoenix there. Good stuff. They wipe, I think it was Temper out there. Now we have the 10 teams remaining. We've got 30 players. All of them making their way in. Most of them set up inside that zone. Of course, Spaza Six moving up. Ekasi coming up from the south as well. Going to be just heading up. Gun actually just putting themselves right in to the north where there aren't that many teams. So that is a potentially good rotate unless they get caught out, which they could be.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what's going to happen. And of course, watching Sunny now, he's just trying to move up right behind the players there from Spaza Six, putting those shots right into Berserk. But Berserk quick with the retaliation there. You know, that return fire and quickly getting that hit in. So yeah, some pretty quick reactions there. We got Odyssey, of course, now not too far away, just off in the distance here. And we're waiting to see what is going to happen. Will they be able to land those hits? Vindog, of course, now being the last one, and he gets the hit in on Berserk.
Yeah, they left him behind there. He was alone, sandwiched between some teams. Ekasi now trying to move up, but it looks like that zone will be a little bit too much for a couple of those members. Just trying to push the last two, that being, of course, I believe it's Jasmine. Of course, the last one now. Ooh, some actual fighting happening as well. Just up here, lots of hits coming through. eXile's in the middle of the fray. Phoenix just off to the side, and it's Panic left alone for Spaza Six.
Well, we've got some audio in play as well, something that we need to fix. Just here we got some people in all chat, but in any case, yeah, we'll just move on from there. But as you can see, the team's still moving in. We are now sitting with 9 teams, 25 players still alive. Reluctant already making that move, pushing up in towards zone. We got the Dragons, of course, just over towards their southwest. The eXiles over towards the southeast. And we're waiting now to see if any of these teams are going to start moving in. And it seems like the players here from Existence are moving up. The Dragons getting hit in the process. Dan getting a quick knock in, but then getting knocked out in the process. Up comes the team moving in. The Dragons now pushing up over towards their position. You can see Nero and Shek both now trying to move up. So it's pretty much a 2v2. And then, of course, we also have those shots coming in from the Reluctant team just on the edge there.
Yeah, so very aggressive move from Existence there, trying to take out the Dragons, really putting those hits in, trying to make it difficult. And we'll see if they are successful, because right now, like you said, they're getting hit from a couple of different sides, trying to put the hits in from a distance. In the meantime, some fights going off between eXile and, of course, Panic, who is there just trying to survive on his lonesome. Ekasi also moving in from the south is going to be taking some hits as well. So a couple of engage happening here towards the south.
Yeah, and the blue zone, of course, moving up. So that's also applying a little bit of pressure on these teams. You can see Ekasi just off in the distance now, trying to go up. They're getting hit as they're rolling up, trying to avoid the blue. Just heading up to the trenches. Up they come. Shots flying in once again. Jasmine, now the last hopeful for the team there. The Dragons also getting ready to move up. You can see Phoenix now also on the move. Everyone, in fact, slowly but surely closing in. Reluctant now trying to pick off a few of the players there from the Existence team. Or Exist. There we go. Yeah,
and that zone is going to be moving in once again, getting ever smaller. It's only about 200 meters across at this point. And, well, everyone's still got to make their way in there. We got 23 players to try and squeeze themselves into this. And there's a lot of teams that are going to be fighting for this real estate here. Lots of teams in that southern portion still fighting it out. The fights have yet to be resolved. And then, of course, on your screen here, you can see the Natural Killers and Gun, who have been chilling off to the side here for a little bit, not really wiping one another out just yet. And Phoenix off in the distance. They're just trying to keep themselves safe in towards the edge of the zone, putting some hits in now towards the Exist as they come up. Reluctant inside that zone already, just trying to put the hits in all across the board. There's so many players surrounding them right now. They've got the eXiles, they've got Ekasi, there's Dragons, there's Exist, there's even Phoenix putting some hits in. So this is a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah, this is really, really tough. And Gun now just trying to smoke it up in the distance, as you can see there. Oh, and the shots are still flying all over the place. Exist managing to get that one player in zone. The Dragons now taking some hits here from Ekasi. Down goes Frieza Jasmine once again. The hopeful for the team. Blade now getting that push ready. Let's see, is he going to push up all the way? It is, of course, quite a risky move as we've got the players from Reluctant right on the side here, and they could very likely get that third party going. But Exist now using this opportunity to rotate up in towards zone. Oh, there we go. Reluctant popping a quick one in right over towards Mr. Flame. Oh, Jasmine in the blue zone. So I think we're going to see Ekasi getting sent to the lobby now. Yep, there we go. Oh, just getting ended with the Dragons, landing those final few hits right into them. I mean, that was a really, really tough spot for them to be. That blue zone trying to force them in, you know. Oh, up comes the hits now. Reluctant, and the Dragons now starting to engage. You can see the eXiles now also trying to move up into towards that zone.
Yeah, that's such a hard spot. That blue zone pushing all of these teams up. It forced the Ekasi up, it forced the Dragons up, even forced eXiles up, all in towards that position. But none of the teams feel confident challenging Reluctant here. So Reluctant are just keeping their triggers trained and just pulled right in there, putting the hits in towards these teams. Now the Gren's flying up to try and flush them out, doing some damage here. The eXiles know they need to leverage out this position. Of course, some serious chaos because this new zone is even smaller and it's just up ahead.
Yo, and we're seeing the players there from Phoenix now also moving up from that northern side. Exist managing to sneak in just on that edge. I mean, Reluctant now down to their last player, Sleepy being the last hope for left. You can see Phoenix and Exist just putting some shots across towards each other there. You got the eXiles, well, actually quite a few. The team's still having to rotate up in towards the zone. The next zone being out in the open field. Oh, yeah, down they go. Beautiful shooting there by Mr. Shek.
Yeah, and that's the perfect go signal for the teams. Now that Reluctant have been wiped out of these buildings, it's a little bit easier to move. You can see Exiles now, they're just putting the pressure on, moving a little bit up. They have the Dragons to contend with. Just off in the distance is, of course, Exist, as well as Phoenix there, which they are, of course, taking the fight across. And, well, Phoenix and Exist also going to be maybe training their crosshairs towards one another as well. So we've got a little bit of a circle going on here with these 4 remaining teams. We've got 11 players on the board, and it is only a matter of time before they take one another out.
Yeah, and we got Mr. Sheck now, the lone survivor for the Dragons, just trying to sneak his way up in towards that zone. The blue zone, of course, right on his heels. And we're waiting to see, will they be able to pull it off, as everyone is now starting to just try and survive. Well, not starting, well, they are still trying to survive. Make it up as far as they go. Exist taking quite a bit of damage. Flame here, the last one left. Clutch also quite low. Down he goes now. Wow, the Dragons get sent off. Zane just quickly finishing Sheck off there. And as you can see, Phoenix now moving up. Flame just trying to survive in these bushes. Holding on for dear life.
Yeah, there's very little that can be done here. Flame is just under heavy fire. He's not going to survive. It is only the Phoenix who can challenge the Exiles now. And, well, let's see if they're going to be able to do it. Because I don't know if that's even possible. It's just done already. They're just going to put the hits in straight across. It's just precision dismantling that one. Yeah.
That was absolute insanity. I mean, the kill cam was still moving and then the player's dead. It's like, game over. Just like that, it is done. So we've got the Exiles there finishing off their play with 15 kills. And the chicken dinner, Phoenix, of course, finishing up in second place, coming in with a very comfy 7 kills. We've got the players there from Exist, of course, in third place with 5 kills. The Dragons in fourth with 4 kills. The team from Reluctant in fifth with 2 kills. We got Gun empty-handed. The Natural Killers also 0 kills to the name. Ekasi finishing off with 1 in 8th. We got the players there from Spaza Six finishing off in 9th, coming in with their kill count on 8. Odyssey finishing on 1. We got Temper on 0. We got the players from Rain Gaming on 2 kills. Vibrant finishing off on 4. We got the Outsiders finishing on 5 kills. House of Anubis on 0. And of course the players there from I'm not sure who. I think it's EFX, or who is that?
I'm not 100% sure.
But anyway, the team, that's Blink, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But that's Mr. Luffy, Superior, Juicy, and President finishing off in 16th place, getting sent back to the lobby first. So yeah, there we go. There we have it. That was a pretty tough one. Even though we eventually got to see the match happening.
Yeah.
You know, but either way, that was some pretty spicy stuff, as you would put it. So yeah, well done to the teams. Some great performances there.
Spicy stuff is definitely what we saw. I mean, even in the bit that we did get to see of that game, there were some really nice things happening, good decisions being made. You know, the rotations that I mentioned earlier in the game, those were some really good rotations. Phoenix was able to take our temper nice and early on, which is a sight to see for sure. We saw some, really good stuff happening. A lot of clustering down towards the south in those final few zones, which led to quite a bit of interesting situations of the team sort of sitting around in a weird blockade almost, with Reluctant sitting in those buildings, just stopping them from moving up. Eventually they got flushed out and the teams were able to move up. So yeah, a really nice match, despite it being maybe a little bit short, but I'm sure we'll see the next one in full force.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, without further ado, let's get into the intermission while we wait for the second round to get underway. Of course, have 4 rounds coming in. So yeah, without further ado, here we go. We'll see you guys back in a few.
wanna see the way you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, I still spin inside your orbit. Yeah. You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, cause I'm floating in your orbit. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space, just my luck. Put me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, call my name. You understand, I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. That's my luck. Put me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand. I wanna leave, you understand. I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. I wanna see why you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, still spinning inside your orbit. I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, cause I'm floating in your orbit. Pull me back, take my hand, call my name. You understand, I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. That's my luck. Put me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand. I wanna leave, you understand. I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Pull me back, take my hand, call my name. You understand, I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away.
How heavy is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple man stand around like the hate in the gaff. Please stop talking that trash, cause the vibes in the front all the way to the back. heavy is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple man stand around like they hate in the gaff. Please stop talking that trash, cause the vibes and the fun all the way to the back.
Won't you say why you're a stranger now? Your eyes escaping mine when I sit you down. Don't you feel like we're holding on onto a fairy tale, but the magic's gone? Been months of bluffing the blushes and faking the butterflies. Wake up, yeah, I'm kicking the castle down. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to talk. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so here we are getting ready for the second round. This, of course, being our first week of the Pro Series. So we've had a pretty tough one on that first match. You know, some very, very spicy zones, of course. And yeah, now we're moving up onto the Miramar map, trying to see what, you know, what it's going to look like on this one.
Yeah, as we know, this map pretty big, so you know, a lot of different things happening. Maybe teams like to take their time a little bit of extra space to move around, but that also means, you know, there's a bit of a burden to be a little bit more active if you want to get some kills, you know, if you want to get those extra points. And then obviously you have to make sure that you don't get caught out with those extra big distances. You make sure you got to get your rotates in a little bit quicker, a little bit more early, so you have to be a bit more mindful of that. So yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, well, here we go, straight into the match. And the teams, of course, you can see there we've got Gun over in slot 2. We've got the Outsiders in slot 3. We've got Temper in 4. We've got the eXiles in 5. Vibrant in 6. We've got the Dragons in 7. Odyssey in 8. We've got House of Anubis in 9. We've got the players there from Spaza Six in slot 10. We've got Exist in 11. Ekasi in 12. We've got Rain Gaming in 13. We've got the Natural Killers in 14. Phoenix in 15, Reluctant in 16, and then of course the players from Blink over in slot 17.
Yeah, we got that zone going all the way there from the south to the north, focused a little bit more towards the western side, so maybe we'll see a western zone, maybe not, who knows. But yeah, the players will be able to jump down into the majority of spots that they want to get into. We'll see if any of the teams and players go down there and towards that island, maybe. We'll see. Otherwise, yeah, pretty normal stuff for the moment. We just have to wait and see where that zone is going to be dropping.
Yeah, so some pretty good spots there for the teams to move up into. So we're just going to see who's going to take which positions. And then, of course, you know, once that zone then lands, we'll be able to see whether these teams need to start rotating up in towards those positions, or are they pretty much just going to stay where they are. So that is the question that we are wanting to answer next. So we'll see what is going to happen. And then, of course, yeah, hopefully this will unfold in a fairly exciting manner.
Yeah. And those two different styles that you mentioned, they're actually, you know, they're two separate things in and of themselves. You know, if the zone lands on top of the majority of teams, then, you know, they don't have to leave. They don't have to go anywhere. So that creates an entirely different dynamic on the map than if the zone goes somewhere else and the teams do have to move and rotate and whatnot, you know. So there's two, like, entirely different scenarios that are possible here. And we've seen both of them played out. This one looks like it's going to be the rotate and, you know, run like hell zone, because it's landed all the way here, centered around Impala on the eastern side of the map, and a lot of it seems to be water, so the amount of space available has been reduced by the amount of water you can see on your screen there. And well, that means these teams are going to have to make some interesting decisions. Maybe they'll move up a little bit quickly, make sure they can get a spot inside that zone. But of course, for the moment, you know, you have to just sort of deal with where you've landed, you know, for right now, get your loot going, and then start making those decisions.
Yeah, well, there's two spicy spots, though, that we're looking at. That, of course, being the water treatment side, where we've got the Outsiders and the players there from Blink, as well as over here in San Martin, where we've got the team there from Odyssey, as well as the players from Temper. So let's jump up into the spot here and see what we got cooking between these teams here. I think this is one of the spots where we'll definitely find some of that early game action.
Yeah. I mean, if there was ever a good time, I guess, for early game action, it's when the teams are close by initially, because the map is so big that sometimes you can't really pinpoint exactly where people are going to be. You might just rotate straight past someone without even realizing it sometimes. So when you're close to a team in the initial stages of the match, and you know that, and you can spot them out and sort of see where they're moving around, maybe hear them, whatever the case is, that's a really great time to get some kills in, because once the rotates have to start coming in, once you have to start making yourself a little bit known, it becomes a lot less, you know, predictable about what's going to happen. So getting a few early kills in can be really, really helpful just to put the points on the board. It can really help with consistency if for some reason something goes wrong. So yeah, a good start would be to just get those early hits in, and we'll see if that is indeed the case here.
Yeah, well, talking about early hits, we see the Outsiders already putting those shots into the players here from Blink. So it is looking a little bit tough for them at the current moment. You know, the Outsiders not wasting any time and, of course, pushing up straight in towards them. As you can see, Blink, of course, now sitting on 3 players still remaining. Mr. Juicy there Juicy rather. I don't know whether it's a Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, whichever way. But we got Juicy just off in the distance there. The outsiders, of course, now moving in, putting those final few hits in, sending them off to the lobby. So the team from Blink now left only with 3 players.
Yeah, some nice hits going in there nice and early. I'm just trying to get some tempos going, you know, maybe clear the way, just give yourself a bit more loot as well. Make things a bit easier. You can see here, Mr. Who's that? Mr. I don't even know. But he's right here, and there's a bunch of team. Yeah, that one.
See, Isonini. There is the name, Isonini.
All right, well, Isonini is just chilling here with basically no help from the outsiders. Have yet to finish sniffing him out and hunting him down, but I'm sure they'll get to that point at some stage. They'll find him and take him down. He doesn't really have much else to do. There's no chance of escape, really, unless he picks the perfect moment to somehow just slip away, or his teammates potentially detract some of that attention. We'll see if that happens here with those shots. President already aiming them. He's just going to get taken down immediately with Kizion's well-placed VSS shots coming in there.
Yeah, well shot there by GODSENT, just sneaking that hit in off the edge, coming in with some more VSS shots. And of course, the remainder of the outsider team also now getting involved with these hits. There we go, some action. So the outsiders really getting close and turning that heat up. We've of course got the players there from Gun over in Monte Nuevo. We've got Ekasi sitting in El Pozo. The Dragons all the way up in La Cabrera. You can see the players there, of course, from Spaza Gaming, very close to Minus Generales, and of course the Rain Gaming team not too far away, just on the outlying region there. Also the players there from Vibe down over, well, all the way in the south, very close to Los Higos. And of course House of Anubis in Chumacera, and Phoenix over in Val del Mar, whichever that place. Right there where they are. Now let's see what we've got cooking between the players here from Odyssey and Temper, as we've seen some great things from these teams in other tournaments as well. Yeah, we certainly have, and you know, we'll see if these teams can bring up some of that greatness with them in towards this one here. See if Odyssey can come out on top, or if Temper will be able to take this one here. These teams still just across from one another, not having really gotten too close, not having breached that line just yet. They're just testing the waters, seeing if they can get any hits in, seeing if they can just spot a bit of a crack in the defense of either one of the teams. Yeah, the rest of the teams making their way around, of course. So we've got outsiders still up there with, Isanini and President and the rest of the team there. Natural Killers now actually moving up as well, and they're going to be feeling a little bit of the heat as they come past the players there from Odyssey and Temper. Yeah, well, there goes Macho just flying off. He's like, nah, thanks, I'm not going to stop here. Senna taking quite a bit of damage on that vehicle, though. You can see Macho just flinging himself off into the distance there. Well, that it worked. It paid off, that move helped, yeah. And he managed to get up in towards safety. But we've got the team here from Odyssey also now rotating up. So Sidon and Grim moving in, and let's see, will they be able to find them?
Yeah, this could be a rotate specifically aimed at trying to find the players from the Natural Killers there, because they know that Natural Killers took quite a bit of damage going past Temper. So this little scouting mission could potentially prove to be useful if they manage to spot out the players from Natural Killers. But Natural Killers have really just put their foot straight down there on the accelerator. They've just gone straight into the zone. They're like, nope, we're out. If they send a search party after us, they are not finding us. We are just we are out of this. We are just absolutely out of this. We're going to head up into the zone somewhere completely else. We're just going to set up all by our lonesome here. It doesn't matter. We're not getting sniffed out of this one.
Yeah, and you can see the remainder of Vibrant already moving off, and I think Isanini, of course, might be AFK, because I mean the position hasn't changed, the location hasn't changed. Oh, there we go. We've got some movement. Yay! All right, so I think that was needed to bring the player back into the game. Some of that caster power. I speak you back in to, whichever, that one.
Yeah, probably just put the phone down like, yeah, I'm dead here, and went to get some coffee, came back and was like, I'm still alive, cool.
Well, there we go. Blade now rolling up, heading in right past the remainder of the players here from Blink. Let's see, will those shots ring true and land on Blade? But it doesn't seem like it is happening just yet. But of course now they're battling this blue zone. So the teams now slowly but surely starting to make their way up. Well, the remainder of the teams that we still got on the outlying region here, slowly but surely moving up. You can see House of Anubis, the team there from Vibe, as well as Phoenix, all the way down in that southeastern, well, southwestern corner rather, slowly but surely moving up.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the teams in the corners, especially seeing that it is a circular zone. You know?
Yeah, it's definitely must be pretty difficult to get into the corners of that circle, but I think if anyone can do it, it's these teams here.
Oh, there we go. Dizzy putting some crazy shots into offline. I think he probably wishes he was offline at this current moment, as the remainder of his team are now all rotating up, trying to find a better position elsewhere. You can see Storm, Helios, and Pronto. Pronto just hanging around, trying to see if he can provide some cover there, as they are now slowly but surely starting to circle back around offline, also trying to move up in towards safety to avoid that thirst, of course. But the team from Phoenix are moving in. They look quite thirsty, and yeah, they really want to get some of those hits going.
Yeah, I mean, anyone would at this point, especially now that that zone has rotated down once again and moved off in towards the sort of southeastern little area there. Lots of teams already clustered inside the zone. You can see tons of them just sitting around in that area. They don't have to move, but they certainly will have to fight at some stage. Lots of teams that we're watching here down towards the south just fighting it out. We see if House of Anubis can push past the players here from Phoenix, or if they'll have to or be forced to rotate around and pick another way to get into the zone. In the meantime, of course, now the team from Limitless, who was sitting in Impala, is going to make their way up a little bit in towards these teams and potentially get involved in the fray going on there. In the meantime, we've got tons of teams up towards the northwest for some reason, sitting inside that blue zone, just taking a couple of shots all across at one another as they try and make their way in slowly but surely. So we've got quite a bit of stuff happening all across the map.
Yeah, well, Limitless,
Team 16.
Oh, Blink.
My page says Limitless. That's what I'm going with.
Oh, up comes those hits. On mine it says Blink, but whichever way, the team there is not. Yeah, the team over there.
Yeah, that I'll go looking. Let me just find the new page. Hold on.
Or reluctant. That's the other option.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go looking now. I'm actually just gonna go have a look and see exactly which team this is. But for now, that team over there is there.
Oh, there we go. So the shots now still flying all over the place. Oh, there we go. Who is gonna get it? Phoenix and House of Anubis still battling it out.
It is in fact Reluctant.
There we go. Yes, Reluctant SA.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I have a lot of team lists. A lot of team lists. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Yeah. Well, no teaming up against you on that one. Let's look at the map. As you can see, we've got the outsiders right up in that northern part of the safe area, where we've got the dragons as well, and then of course we've got the team there from Exist as well as the team from Blink, all the way up in that northern area. Shady just getting taken down by the blue zone, and we see some of the players from Phoenix now rolling up, rotating up right past the players there from House of Anubis. You can see offline getting hit once again. We've got Shakes and Dizzy still hanging back a little bit now before they start moving up into a zone. This blue zone also about to close in. House of Anubis getting ready to roll. Off they go one by one. Who will make that first exit? Or will the Phoenix team be able to get that bounce in? That is the question of the hour. Yeah, that is indeed the question. While these teams start to trickle in from the north as well as the western parts, they're just coming out of that blue zone, making their way down in, getting settled. They're gonna have a little bit of an interesting time here as the zone moves in, because once they get settled, they're gonna have to start moving all over again, because the zone is making its way in pretty quickly, and it's about to get a whole lot smaller.
Yep, and talking about smaller, we can see the team from Gun now putting some hits in towards the eXiles just off in the distance. Mr. Risks just trying to land hit after hit. Now let's see, will he be able to get it in successfully? Oh, there we go. We got some more Ooh, there we go. Nerf now in getting involved with that Mini 14 as well, up on the roof. In fact, well, gun is pretty well spread out across this region.
Yeah, there's a couple of teams set themselves up here, you know, just here and there, just getting themselves dug in a little bit and waiting to see if anyone comes past, checking to see what is happening. And the south, it's still pretty crammed. The middle of the zone also pretty crammed there. We've got the eXile's gun and the players there from Reluctant. Just up north, we have Rain, we have Spaza Six, we've got Natural Killers, we've even got Odyssey and the Dragons moving down just off to the side there as well, towards the eastern side. Got a couple of teams towards the west and a couple getting taken by that blue zone, just still straggling behind, you know, not really having made it in time. A couple of teams still moving out of that blue zone, that of course being the outsiders and exist. And yeah, I guess now we're going to see where the new zone lands, which will be all the way over in Impala, which is going to mean that all the teams that were straggling at the top out of the blue zone are still going to have to run a little bit more.
Yep. Every day they are struggling. Let's see what is going to happen. And some of these teams, as you mentioned, now has got quite some distance to cover. There we go. Risk already getting that rotation, rotating up in towards Impala there. And we see the players here from Phoenix and House of Anubis still all the way in the south, battling it out on the hills now. So they've got quite some distance to cover to make it up in towards that zone.
Yeah. Yeah,
seems
a lot
like
of teams
Shakes
got quite a
of
distance to
course.
cover.
Yeah, Shakes all by his lonesome here. House of Anubis just lurking, waiting for him to move. Oh, there we go. Blink getting a quick few shots in towards the outsiders. And of course now we've got the eXiles rotating up there, hitting up right past the Natural Killers. You see the vehicle taking a bit of damage here as the Natural Killers put in head after head. Oh, down goes Macho.
Yeah,
Panda now coming up from behind.
Chillaxing here. Is Natural Killers basically just occupying this little ditch that we've got going here, putting the hits in. eXiles are going to be trying to put the pressure on Panda, rotating up from the side. We've got Nukes and MG trying to put the hits in from across the trenchy little area we've got going here. And, well, right now they've got quite a bit of damage in on themselves as well.
Well, the outsider is sneaking a quick hit in right in towards Zane there. Now, yeah, it was an interesting split that we had between the players there, but Panda now sneaking up the side. Juicy now, the last hope for left here for the Natural Killers. Let's see, will Juicy be able to pull this one off, as we've got the Reluctant team also now moving in.
Yeah, that's a difficult one to be in right there.
Yep. Now that's definitely a very, very tricky one. The outsiders, of course, now also putting in some more hits. As you can see, that team there from, I think it's Ekasi that we've got just to our southwest. So, yeah, it's definitely going to start lighting up. Yep, there we go. Ekasi just over towards the southwest as they now slowly but surely, slowly but surely, there we go. That sounds much better.
Yeah.
Try to move up now. We've got MG, of course, out in the open here. We've got some Grens flying up over towards where Juicy was. Let's see, will they get it? Yes, there we go. The Natural Killers getting sent into the lobby. Ekasi, of course, now also just rolling up, pushing in bit by bit. And we see the players here from Spaza Six as well, right on the edge, right next to the players here from the Dragons. Oh, there we go. So Panda just bleeding out now, but the Spaza Six team and the Dragons about to get the action going. Let's see who will come out victorious and be the next team to roll out from this region.
They're in a very tight spot here. Like, there is very little room to rotate away, so they sort of have to take the fight, and none of them really wants to pull the trigger without having some sort of a leg up, so they're just sitting here in a bit of a stalemate at the moment, waiting for someone to maybe, you know, step out of position, show themselves. If they can get a hit in, maybe it'll help. So here comes the Dragons, actually. They're going to be the first ones to make a move, and that's going to cost them a couple of players now going down. Oh no, just falling down the side, just trying to get some sort of an angle on. He's not going to make it there. Shekwe sliding down the hill once again is not going to be able to help the team at the moment. Spaza Six, they have a chance here. If they can push this one, they might be able to win, but it might cost them everything. They might have to take the gamble. In the meantime, the team's going to be fighting all across the map, actually. Going to be putting the hits in, and that zone has rotated down all the way to the south, which is going to force all the players downward.
Man, this is definitely quite the tough game, and you can see the House of Anubis now putting some shots in. Vibe also putting a quick few shots in towards Temper, as we've seen 2 of the players now just getting taken down. But we got some more action just right behind us here. Oh, as Odyssey put those final few shots into the Exist team, taking them down. But now, Spaza Six are also now turning the attention right over towards them. And we can see the Outsiders also getting a quick few hits in right over towards the players there from the Exiles. So it's a very tough position here. Spaza Six, oh, managing to get a quick hit in on Blade. See the Dragons now deciding to rather rotate out because it might be safer elsewhere.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how these teams are actually playing. They're playing up and down the side of the zone. So one on the eastern side, we've got a couple of teams playing down the coastline, and we've got a couple of teams playing down at the edge of the zone there. Of course, that being the Outsiders and the Exiles. Exiles now being wiped out there. Once and for all, Outsiders going to put the last nail in the coffin there before they start to make their way in. Blue Zone is going to be coming up to encourage them in towards that zone. The rest of the teams making their way down now. And, well, Reluctant going to be putting a couple of those hits in as well as they just try and get inside there. Quite a number of teams towards the south just having a bit of a tussle.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a pretty packed corner, this, as the players now all try and move up into this area here, just trying to escape that blue zone. And the shots, of course, flying all over the place. As you can see, you got Flacco right there over towards the southeast, and hits now still flying in right over towards the players here from Reluctant, as Titan just got knocked down. So we are now waiting on Maestro and Baker, the 2 remaining players, hoping that they could maybe potentially get a few races going. But House of Anubis now also moving in. Oh, shots flying right over towards them. Ekasi landing hit after hit right there on the team.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. This is interesting because the zone is now chosen to go towards the west. The teams have to make their way in still, and they're just flooding in from all the corners where they were hiding, where they were taking fights, where they were sitting, and they're all very, very low on HP. They've all just been engaged in fights for quite some time now. They're running out of ammo and meds, and really things are becoming a lot tighter and tighter as this game progresses. This zone getting so small now. Basically, you just look across the map, you see the enemies there, you know that they're there, and you just have to find the right angle, the right time to put those hits in. So we have 31 players left. We've got 11 teams on the board, and the shots still flying up as all the teams try to make their way in.
And Ekasi now just trying to, well, maybe find a good approach to get in towards that zone. But the team here from House of Anubis are just putting in hit after hit, making it really, really difficult for them to start rotating up. As you can see, everyone are just trying to find the better approach. And Odyssey now just pulling up on the Outsiders here. Outsiders, of course, doing quite a bit of damage. Up comes Bob. Gets the hit on Supreme. And down goes Bob. Broly coming in with a quick save there for the players from Odyssey. But Gun, of course, now moving in.
Yeah, it's this no selfless acts here. They're going to have to try and capitalize on this one, take down that last remaining player from Odyssey. Spaza Six making their way down as well, just trying to avoid the fight, just making their way along the perimeter. They might actually just try and get some extra hits in there if they can. They're actually going to be just yoked straight down into the chasm there, and the fire is actually going to be laid down all the way in towards them. Grim not letting them pass for free, and well, he's just laid down the nails in their coffin before his own get nailed by a gun. If they do decide to do that, of course, the Blues are now moving in, forcing the Dragons to move up there with the players from Rain Gaming. That zone now shifting once again up towards the north, favoring Gun and Ekasi in this particular setup here.
Well, there we go. Well done to Gun for getting that bounce on the players there from Odyssey, sending Mr. Grimm back. Down goes Gunner as well. Right as, well, no, sorry, Gunner got the hit in. No, he's gone. Baker took him down. Never mind. House of Anubis. It's just happening so fast. The kill feed can't even keep up. But you can see the shots just going off all over the place. 16 players left, 5 teams remaining. We're waiting to see now whether or not Mr. Baker will be able to make it. And yeah, he just had a great blow up just on the outside of that little shack that he's in. And Gun looking really good this round as they now starting to move up, pushing up right in towards the Ekasi team here. Grains, of course, flying all over the place. Let's see, will they get it? Oh, there we go. Reaper now moving in.
Oh yeah, just playing across this this little hillside here, trying to get those hits in. Hunter, Sunny, everyone under fire. No one is able to stay alive for too long here. There's basically nothing to hide behind. Sunny just healing himself up, chucking those Garens in, trying to get any sort of damage possible here. Trying to make it a little bit easier. Yeah, Gun just coming full force here, taking them out bit by bit, and Sunny is in a difficult spot here. Has to do a 1v3 at this point, or 1v2 as well, Broly is gone. Risk's also bleeding out slowly. Could potentially make this doable for Sunny.
Yeah, he could maybe just survive the zone. Well, he's in zone for the next one as well, as we got that shift now coming up. Baker getting taken down by the blue zone there. The Dark Dragons also now just trying to find their spot in zone. 4 teams remaining, that being Gun, the Dragons, Ekasi, and then of course House of Anubis. All the teams on the move, trying to find that angle, putting the shots in that they can. You can see the shots now flying up from Storm right in towards the Dragons. Dan being the last one left. Will he be able to survive the onslaught here from House of Anubis as they now try and move in? Bronto goes down. It is up to Helios and offline.
Oh. Yeah.
Good night. Right there to Mr. Dan.
Here we sit 3 teams. It's Gun, it's House of Anubis, and then Sunny sitting there right in the behind. And Gun need to deal with him because otherwise they have a threat of being taken out from behind, which is not a great spot to be in. House of Anubis are eventually going to either push their way up this hill or get pushed. So Gun need to deal with Sunny. There it is, taking them out. Now it's them versus House of Anubis. The zone is pretty much right here on top of them, so it's just up to them to try and make the fights happen. House of Anubis now making their way up. You can see Pronto heading. The attack is going to be right up here, but Gun, they have some good health bars right now. They could potentially win these out, depending on if they get those angles up. The smoke grenades now popping to make it a little bit more difficult for Gun to put the hits in. Let's see who wins this one out.
Ooh, down goes Risk. So Storm landing those hits. Let's see, will they be able to continue this, or will Gun, you know, bring a little bit of retaliation there and make a bit of a comeback? Because we've got Nerf and Slim now, the last 2 hopefuls. Slim trying to get that res in, but no, down goes Nerf, so it is only Slim. Up comes the whole team from House of Anubis and sends Mr. Slim right back into the lobby with the rest of his team. So well done to House of Anubis, finishing off their play on 11 kills. Gun also coming in there with a very nice and comfy 8 kills in second place. We got Ekasi finishing off in third with 2 kills. The Dragons in third with 4, well, in fourth with 3 kills. Got that one the wrong way around. Reluctant in 5th place, of course, with 5 kills. We got the players there from Rain Gaming in 6th place with 1. We got Vibrant finishing in 7th with 4. We got Odyssey coming in 8th place with 8 kills. Then, of course, Spaza Six finishing off in 9th place with 2 kills. We got the Outsiders finishing up in 10th place with 6. Then, of course, Temper in 11th place, going home empty-handed. We got the players there from the Exiles finishing in 12th place with 5 kills. Phoenix, of course, in 13th, empty-handed. We got the Exist team also in 14th place. No kills for them there. The team from Blink getting sent back to the lobby in 15th place with 1 kill. And then, of course, the Natural Killers, the first team to the lobby, empty-handed.
Yeah, so we saw some very interesting things happening in that game, and
interesting things.
Yeah, they were very interesting things right there. But you know, we saw some interesting things happening in there. One of the things is what I mentioned a lot earlier, in that a lot of the teams were moving up from, I think it was the north. Quite a number of teams were there, and for 3 or 4 zones in a row, they were just making their way down in that blue zone time and time again, trying to get in, trying to make their way down. And of course, that zone kept shifting more and more south, and they really weren't able to get the tempo. Eventually, they managed to make their way down. And what that ended up doing is it put the teams into a bit of a split. They sort of split their way down the map. One went to the coast, one to the perimeter of the zone. They flooded down, you know, just trickling in, trying to get into the zone. Some of the teams already set up, coming in, of course, from the other sides. And yeah, we just saw some interesting fights happening there. And yeah, what else to say other than a very spicy map?
Yeah, well done once again to all the teams there for putting up quite a show in the second game. We, of course, now still have 2 more games to come. So without further ado, let's jump into the intermission while we wait for the next one to get underway. And yeah, we'll be back with you shortly. Boop, boop, boop.
trapped inside this spell. Now I feel it, now I feel it. Your demons drag me close to hell. I can feel it.
How did you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so we are getting into our third match, this one being Miramar once again. So, Patchy, it is, yeah, well, hopefully going to be quite an exciting match, just based on what we saw in that previous round.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't expect anything less. We've very interesting stuff happening across the board, pretty much giving these teams very interesting things to adapt to. We've seen some zones just going down there, forcing the teams to really be on their feet, and we've seen some of the teams haven't been able to rotate as quick as they might want to. Just straggling behind there, trying to really, they have to sort of elevate themselves to a much higher level of play just to make it in, just to break even, and that's the sort of a hardship that we like to see every now and then, really just pushing the players to outperform themselves, and you do better and better. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what this map brings us. It's definitely be interesting to say the least, whether it be because everyone going nuts, or whether it be because everyone's taking a breather, who knows, but it will definitely be interesting to watch. So without further ado, let's get into the match. As you can see, of course, now the plane about to take off, and the teams once again in the lobby there. You can see we've got Gun Outsiders, we've got Temper, we've got the eXiles, Vibrant, the Dragons, Odyssey, House of Anubis. We've got the players there from Spaza Six. We got the team from Exist. We got Ekasi, Rain Gaming, Natural Killers, Phoenix, Reluctant, and then of course the players from Blink over in slot 17. Yeah, and that flight path taking us all the way from the southeastern corner all the way up there to the north of La Cabrera in the northwest. So a decent flight path, going to give them access to a lot of the places to drop, but of course nowhere near down towards the island. And I doubt that unless the zone goes there, I doubt we'll see anyone going there. Just based on how far you have to go to actually get into a place like that, not really worth it. Just the size of this map making it a lot more of a challenge to get around the map. So obviously you're going to want to play as concise as possible. Keep your movements tight, keep them in close towards that zone, try and move up as quick as possible. And we saw a couple of teams taking a little bit longer in the previous map, and it did definitely come back to bite that made it a lot more difficult to play. So I don't think we'll see these teams stray too far.
Yeah, well, we'll see where they're gonna go. So I mean, that flight path definitely giving them access to some pretty interesting spots, and it's a little bit of a change up from what we had in the previous round. So just waiting to see who's going to go to, which of these drops. And then, of course, we're now waiting for that zone, trying to see where it's going to take us and where these teams are going to go to. Ooh, there we have it. A nice northwestern zone.
Yeah, that's going to mean that these teams find it a little bit easier to rotate. So most of the teams are inside the zone right now. You can see the teams that are not are just off to the southeast. They should be able to easily make their way up. They're not too far off. So it'll be a lot more comfortable for these teams. At least they're not going to be, forced to funnel down into some crazy places. So they should be able to chill just a little bit more here. Maybe focus a bit more on fighting this time around.
Yeah, well, we saw Slim just there trying to get Juicy right out of the air. As Juicy was still just trying to make, trying to move up into a spot that is, where they could possibly get some loot. And we see a nice concentration of teams all across the map. You got Temper as well as Odyssey once again over in San Martin. We see the team there from Phoenix, Blink, as well as Exist. Of course, holding up right there at Cruz del Val. And several other teams, of course, as you can see on the map here, fairly spread out. See the gun team right over here, just to the northwestern side of the power grid. So let's quickly jump up into Cruz del Val here, where we've got these three teams now just going at each other. As you can see there, Phoenix, Blink, and of course the team there from Exist.
Yeah, and they've got a very interesting spot to fight around. You can see a lot of hits coming off from the Odyssey side as well. In the meantime, that is, of course, in San Martin. But here we've got a very interesting spot to play around. There's a couple of buildings, and a little bit of interesting angles here for these teams to play around. So if they get aggressive, it could be very interesting to watch how they play in this particular part of the map. They are relatively close, at least in terms of this map. This is definitely close quarters. So yeah, we'll see how this one plays out, if they do decide to take the fight, get aggressive, or if they'll just decide to back off, rotate out and live to fight another zone.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, the players here from Exist, of course, getting that rotation up. You can see Clutch just trying to move up the side, putting those heads over towards Shakes, but Shakes now landing the head. Up they come, moving in bit by bit. Arrow in a bit of trouble as the Phoenix team now starts moving up. Shakes getting knocked out in the process. Arrow right there on Clutch. Let's see, will Astakun be able to move in and get that hit? Oh, there we go. Astas just sneaking up the side, gets the thirst as well, not just the knock. So double whammy there for Mr. Asta. Well played.
Yeah, not to mention that the rest of the Exist team is all the way on the other side, so they can't come to help. So it was a good rotation from Phoenix. They managed to cut off those two players, isolate them, pick them apart, and yeah, very nice to play. But of course, now we have EFX here to maybe potentially put some damage in as well.
Yeah, well, let's see. Maybe Blink will get the hits. They are swinging up, as you mentioned there. Ooh, the natural killers putting some hits in towards Gun as well. So let's have a quick gander at where that is. It's right over there. So let's jump up into the fight here. As you can see, the natural killers now just trying to move up towards Gun. Oh, there we go. Sela is down. We got Mr. Broly also down, I believe. No, that's Risks. Got Slim and Nerf trying to land those few hits. Macho going down in the process. So the natural killers down to 2 players, Juicy and Vile.
Yeah, and a lot of work to do as well here because all these players, they're down. Vile has to get some hits in, try and stop a Gun from completing the completing the squad wipe, you know, and well, Gun are looking to do that. You know, they're very close. They can pretty much end this off. Vile going down now. They should be able to close this up pretty easily. No real help coming in from the last play from Natural Killers, who is all across the other side of the road.
Yeah, well, what's interesting to see, though, is that those hits coming in from Juicy, as you mentioned, all the way on the opposite end of the road there, but getting a beautiful third-party hit on those players, because Gun has focused all their attention right here on the natural killers that they had right in front of them, and not expecting that player to come in from, you know, the southern side there to put in those hits. So pretty good strat there, pretty good play.
I mean, yeah, sure, definitely, definitely catching them off guard on that one. Not going to be a very expected one, but obviously Juicy going to lose the rest of his teammates, which is going to be a difficult spot to be in. Single player, you know, in this sort of map that's this big with so many players on the board, very, very difficult. So it's going to be quite a long run for Juicy to be able to keep himself in this one. Yeah, I guess that's that. The rest of the team now making their way in towards that zone. It is coming in very slowly, surely. So they will eventually start making their way in. And of course, this fight between Blink and Phoenix here still going on. Phoenix having to put a couple of those hits in, forcing Blink to use those smokes to try and mask the reses and potentially get out before they get taken down.
Yeah, well, we got a Hulk, of course, now really trying to move up. Juicy now getting taken down in the process there. We got Luffy and Superior, of course, now trying to get their teammate up, which they have done successfully. Now we're waiting to see whether or not the team here from Phoenix will start pushing in and start getting those hits. You can see Dizzy, of course, now just up in the window here, trying to send a few Grens across over towards the players. Loads of smokes all over the place as these players are just trying to provide themselves with enough cover to get back on their feet and continue this fight once again.
Yeah, we'll see if they do decide to do so. Of course, we'll see how this one pans out for them. You know, it might be a better decision to try and just slip away, try and make their way up and towards the zone, you know, somewhere else. Maybe just set themselves up, not really take the fight. When you're in the back foot and you're, you know, on the lower plane as well, your enemies have a height advantage. It could be difficult to play around that, so they might just want to pick their fights very, very carefully here, if, of course, they do want to go for it. You can see those shots still flying in from Phoenix, just putting the pressure on and trying not to let them escape is really what's going on here.
Yeah, and Superior, of course, now trying to see if he can find an angle, but we are seeing a bit of a rotation coming up, or flank rather, as 2 of the players are just moving up the side. Oh, there's our fling. Mr. Gunner getting flung from the vehicle. Dizzy and Shakes, of course, now rotating up right behind Superior. So pretty good strat once again there by Asta and Hulk now, as they are distracting the players off to the one side while the other 2 rotate up from the side, getting some beautiful hits into the Blink team. So we are left with Luffy and Superior. Juicy about to go down. Shakes now trying to move in while they are distracting them. Of course, seeing Asta and Hulk now sneaking up the side, rushing in right over to Superior and sends the team to the lobby. Well done. Well played.
Yeah, some very nice movements coming out there from Phoenix, just really cutting them off, funneling them up, not really letting them escape, and pretty much, you know, rotating around perfectly to just catch them in there and take them down. So, yeah, some very nice movements today. We left 15 teams now, 54 players still on the board as that zone now finally makes its way in, just closing in up there, forcing the teams upward. You can see House of Anubis making their way in from the south. The rest of the teams pretty much all inside that zone, most of them occupying the southern area of the zone. And, well, they're going to get a lot more comfy as the zone gets smaller.
Yep, and we are seeing some more shots now flying up. There we go. So the players there from Rain Gaming doing a little bit of damage here to the team, of course. That being the one from Reluctant. Keeping them on their toes, keeping them guessing, and not letting them escape just yet. Oh, the team, of course, now trying to move up. Smitty getting taken down. Wow. Some great shooting there by the players from Rain Gaming. Squeak getting that hit in on Mr. Smitty. So let's see, will Titan and Maestro be able to go up against these players? We got Temper and Odyssey also now battling it out. Whoa, here we go.
Yeah, this is a tight spot to be in. Rain is really putting on the pressure, just putting those hits in over the mountain, making it difficult for Reluctant to push up here. They have a little room to move, and they are very much pinned down now. Titan coming in just to try and protect Baker there and give some reinforcements and maybe potentially get the squad out before they are wiped. Obviously, they did not expect to meet such heavy resistance moving up over this hill, and now they're going to want to reassess their situation before they proceed. Ooh.
Some great shots flying up there. So the players here from Rain Gaming doing quite a bit of damage to the team there from Reluctant, making it really, really tough for them to, of course, make much progress in this point in the game. And yeah, you can see the players here from Rain Gaming now getting ready to rotate up. They've already gone through the effort of getting themselves that golden Dorado. And yeah, now they're turning up the heat. I mean, the vehicle's not that easy to find.
Yeah, fair enough.
As you know, you know, from playing the Miramar map on such a regular basis.
Yes, absolutely. Of course. An expert like me on this map, absolutely. In any case, yeah, we're going to see if Reluctant can make the escape. They're popping those smokes to just try and reposition, try and play around it. You know, maybe try and find some way out or potentially a hit in some way or shape or form. The zone, of course, now coming down in towards the southeast, and the teams just making their way in. And this has been a lot more of a lax zone at this point. You know, the teams haven't had to do as much rotating, no crazy trickling down because of, you know, fights or anything like that. They have been sitting relatively comfortable, but that's led to the teams being maybe slightly more complacent in that they're not going for any crazy stuff. They're not really doing any big hitting in terms of wiping out team after team, which means that as the zones get smaller and smaller, we're going to be left with quite a number of players in here. So positioning is going to be of the utmost importance for these teams moving forward.
Yep, no, 100% agree with you on that. So we'll just see. I'm laughing at these at these 200 IQ comments in the chat, which is quite funny. But anyway, we've got the outsiders now just getting a quick res in on their teammate there, and we've got the players, of course, there from Spaza Six, slowly but surely moving in from that east-southeast position. And of course, we've got the eXiles right here, right behind them. Oh, boom goes the vehicle right there next to Nukes. So I don't know if that was from the outsider side, but that was quite the explosion. Saw it for quite some distance there. Oh, Zane getting a quick one in on the Dragons. And the players there now from Rain Gaming still putting the shots right over towards the team there. That, of course, being the one from Reluctant.
Yeah. They are not letting this team escape. They are just really being very cold at this point. Like, if Reluctants try and move up, then they just put the hits in. As soon as they get spotted, then, you know, Reluctant are getting shot and they have to hit the deck. They have to try and find cover. So they're not being allowed to move at all here. Rain just being ruthless in the way that they're pinning these players down. Now, of course, you could see they are sort of here. So there is still room behind Reluctant for them to rotate out. But it seems like Reluctant are also, well, apart from being reluctant to rotate out, they're also sort of keen to try and take this fight. Maybe they want to put those hits in, and this might just work to their detriment because Rain Gaming seem very, very dug in right now.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true, and you can just see the surrounding area is just littered with vehicles that have either been shot to smithereens or the vehicle's blown up or something that has happened. So it's really going to be tough for Reluctant to make their rotation out of this area, as well, the players there from Rain Gaming doesn't want them to leave just yet, and really trying to get those shots in.
Yeah, they really, really are, and well, it's an interesting state here. Baker, I think I've seen Baker go down like 3 or 4 times in succession here, so somebody has to give at some point.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky one, and we'll see what's going to happen now. You know, Reluctant really in a tough spot, and every time, you know, that knock that you were talking about is because the player gets knocked, then they rotate up once more, or they get rezzed up, and then they get knocked again, and then get rezzed up, and they get knocked again, and they get rezzed up. But now finally they've been sent back into the lobby, so now Titan and Maestro, the last 2 hopefuls left, and the Rain Gaming now rushing up right towards them. Titan trying to put a few hits over towards Mr. Genesis and Nugget. Ooh, takes quite a beating there.
Yeah, that is huge punishment, and well, Rain Gaming, they've put the work in at this point. They've put quite a few hits over towards Reluctant, and now they just need to capitalize on that. They need to close out these last few kills here, and well, if Titan has anything to say about it, he'll do his absolute best to try and stop that from happening, tossing some Grens in there maybe to get a little bit of damage. But yeah, Reluctant, maybe they just bit off more than they could chew with this fight, because they could have rotated out. They had the position to do that. They could have moved backwards and pushed around somewhere else. They decided not to, and well, we might just see them pay the price for it here.
Well, we got Phoenix now also just off in the distance there, so it might get a little bit
Spicy.
a little bit hot. Yeah, a little bit hot, a little bit spicy, a little bit sweaty, as well as, you know, all these teams start making their way up. Fortunately, they've got zone in their favor once again, so no need for that rotation, but we've got a few other teams that still need to make their move. We've got Ekasi, Gun, and of course the players there from Temper having to roll up in towards zone. The Dragons rolling towards the northern side. We've got Vibe on that south, Exist on the east. And now Rain Gaming seems to be making a push, you know, heading up to a more central position in zone.
Yeah, and it's about time that one of these teams decided to make a move, because they've been fighting for so long that there are 3 teams behind them now. 3 teams rolling their way on up behind these 2 teams fighting here. That, of course, Reluctant and Rain Gaming. So they need to figure this out really quickly. Something needs to happen. One of these teams needs to get knocked out, or they need to move, because otherwise there's going to be quite a swarm on their backside right now. And you can see they're already rolling up.
Yeah, and we once again see a rotation there by Genesis, moving up the side, getting a quick few shots in towards Titan. Now waiting to see what will happen. Nugget, of course, going down, and Gun turning up the heat. Ooh, putting the shots in to Ekasi, as you can see right there on the map. There we go. So Rain Gaming now, well, paying the price, because, you know, they were also one of the teams that didn't rotate out of this position. They now getting thirsted and hit from all sides. Maestro coming in, stealing some of those kills there. As you can see, the eXiles just moving up into the western position. We got one of the players there from Reluctant just bleeding out slowly but surely. Genesis landing that final hit, and of course now Titan. Ooh, still here. We got Gunner and Ekasi also going at it. Ooh, Broly doing quite a bit of damage there, taking out the team. Wowzers.
Wowzers, indeed, is the exclamation to be made.
I can't use different terms.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, wowzers is pretty cool. To be fair, you know, wowzers, like that's pretty cool. It's like, give me some Scooby-Doo vibes, to be honest.
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah. In any case, that zone is going to be moving their way all the way to the western side. That's going to mean that the eXiles outsiders, Spaza Six, Odyssey, and House of Anubis going to be sitting pretty happy inside the zone already. The rest of the teams need to make their way up, of course. Reluctant and Rain Gaming need to figure out their stuff at the moment because they just need to get a move on at this point. We've seen them fight enough. Vibe making their way up. Phoenix, Dragons, Natural Killers, Temper, and the Exist team also now making their way up. Gun also moving in towards the outsiders there and trying to get their way in towards that zone.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether or not they get a successful push in this region. We both, yeah, every day we're stuttering, I guess. Off we go. So Gun with their 2 players moving in. We got Odyssey just off to the side here, over towards the south there. Then, of course, we got the players from Spaza Six just sitting on the east. So, yet again, a fairly intricate position that we've got here. I mean, if the teams move too much off to one direction there, you know, they might end up regretting that. And House of Anubis now doing exactly what I was talking about just now, putting some shots into Vibrant. Vibrant, of course, pushing up a little bit too close for their comfort here. And, yeah, you know, suffering some casualties. Nova getting sent to that lobby.
I mean, you can't really expect anything else at this point when there are 14 teams left remaining in this zone. And I mean, this is like one of the final few zones that's about to land, you know. This is we're at the ending point of the map. We're closing in towards the end here. Someone has to come away with the chicken. And we've got the majority of teams that started this map off together still in this lobby. Which means that, of course, there's going to be crazy stuff happening. You're going to try and rotate into zone. There's going to be everyone already there. You're going to have to try and slide past them, try and maybe take a fight, try and take them out, get their position. Something has to happen, but, you know, no longer is there any sort of half-hearted or maybe just test the waters sort of playing. Like, you have to fully commit to a decision now. You don't really have much chance. There's no room for error. You have to make your way in or take the kills or both or whatever. But it has to be now. Like, this is the decision-making moment.
And especially when it comes to that wada, you know, that's when the interesting stuff really starts happening. And you can see the outsiders just up ahead here. Natural Killers down on their last player. Temper slowly but surely moving up, trying to get some more hits in. And Vibe also suffering a few hits. Reluctant now getting hit by the Dragons. The outsiders, of course, just on the outside of zone, off in the distance there. And we are seeing quite a lot of action on this map as it exists. Phoenix and Vibe are now just going absolute ham in this eastern corner of the map here. You can just see the shots going all over the Dragons, closing in. Phoenix getting hit in the process. We also got a little Brave Soul here, well, trying to move up. And then, of course, House of Anubis blowing them up. There we go, as one does. Oh. It seems like the Dragons are down to their last player.
Yeah, that's a lot of wada-wadaing happening in a very short amount of time. Yep. And we're already down to 10 teams, and we're about to see a whole lot more get sent back to the lobby as the shots now flying in. The Dragons getting hit hard, leaving them straggling here with their last couple of players. That, of course, being Blade and Dan. Oh, Nero's still up here as well. So they've got a couple of players here, but it's definitely a difficult spot for them now. The Exiles, they have a decision. They can continue to hunt the Dragons or they can move up. I think knowing what they've done in the past, they might just decide to move up. The zone is off towards the southwest, so they will have to make their way up there. Chet has already made his way in there. The rest of the team's making their way up. Of course, Temper now coming down there right into the players from Spaza Six who have taken up a central position in that zone. Now the Dragons making their way around as the Exiles have indeed disengaged and made their way in towards the zone. They will be meeting up with the players from Vibrant. They were just off towards their south. House of Anubis is also down there in the south of the zone. Odyssey just on off to the west as well. So now the shots are going off pretty much everywhere at this point as the teams now rolling up in to meet one another. No room. Just no room.
Yeah, well, the Dragons putting up a bit of a fight, but they get caught in the blue zone. Now let's see, will they make this rotation? Oh, 2 of the players just getting hit as they try and roll up. Temper also taking a few hits from the Dragon side. We got Vibe also now closing, as you can see, just off in the distance there. And the Dragons getting sent in to that lobby. Spaza Six now opening fire in all directions. Gun getting a quick few hits into the Odyssey team there. As you can see, Gun right up here with the players from the outsiders as well, as the outsiders now try and come on to the inside of the safe zone, as they really need to do that. It is quite tough fighting on the outside of the zone. Oh, and the gun now down to 2, unless of course they can get that res in on Broly, but it is a really tough spot as there are so many teams still in the surrounding area, and I don't think anyone's gonna let them, you know, get away with any of those reses.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be tough. Nerf. Oh, there we go. Down goes gun. So off to the lobby it is for them. The players from Spaza 6 just finishing it off. And now the House of Anubis team is slowly but surely rolling in. We are seeing the eXiles also getting a quick hit into Mr. Panic there from Spaza 6. We got Temper still over towards the northern side. Getting quite close. The outside is still battling it out. Not done yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of fighting just happening all across the map right now. All the players have to make their way into the zone because it's getting smaller right now. So we have Spaza 6 sitting right here in the central compound. We have Temper just trying to push up off to the side, and House of Anubis also trying to push up into the into that compound there. eXile's trying to push up as well. Everyone just situated here in towards that compound. Going to be fighting now. It's a very close quarters match. Everything's super tight at the moment. The blue zone doing damage. Everyone's just getting caught out left and right, trying to push up, but they're getting caught out by the lines of sight as well. Now Spaza 6 moving up on Temper. We've even got House of Anubis trying to take down Deity on the other side as well. We'll see if Temper can hold their own now. Staples making his way up, might just get caught out here. There are 2 players from Temper waiting up for him, but that zone has made its way in again, and it is so tiny. Everyone's just taking so much damage.
Man, this is definitely going to be a tough one. And we have some players rolling up with vehicles, trying to get into the zone. You just heard the vehicle there. But now, of course, the players here from Spaza 6 just putting those hits in towards the outsider's direction. Really making it quite tough for them to get up in towards the zone. But we'll see. They've got about 25 seconds left until the zone now, of course, moves in, and shots still flying across in all directions. House of Anubis definitely going to be part of that welcoming committee as the players from the outsiders try and move in, but Bob doing some great work. Ooh.
Yeah, this is interesting. Outsiders, they've had to move up with very little cover now. They're trying to rotate around, catch House of Anubis out. Helios is trying to just smoke himself out, keep himself alive. Temper, they're trying to dance around in that compound against Spaza 6 and really just try and win out this victory here, but it's so difficult. They have to put so many hits in. Can they make it happen? Nos gonna go down now. It's just Mayo to try and make something happen. He's gonna get lots and lots of work done if he wants to get himself up in here. The outside is now putting the pressure on. Helios has to find a way to move up. Spaza 6, they've got the map control here. They can just force Mayo straight out into the open and take him down, and they will do exactly that. We've got 3 teams remaining. It's just Helios for House of Anubis here, and Deity's right up on top of him, but he's going to take him out. Oof.
Yo, man, this is just insane now. The outsiders are the only team now pushing up against Spaza Gaming. Of course, that's the only team left to push up against them. So Andrew and Bob both now moving in, getting those hits into Panic and Berserk. Andrew doing some fantastic work. Staples and Deity, the 2 remaining players now for the Spaza 6 team. So let's see, will they be able to pull this off? Deity and Staples. Oh, down goes Staples. Deity, the last one left. Mr. Lone Ranger, will he get it? Oh, it's going to be close.
Yeah, Spaza 6, they had the man advantage. They had everything going for them, but they lost that fight to outsiders, and now the outsiders have that tempo. Now they're going to be pushing up. Now they have everything going for them, and they ended off there. Nicely played.
Ooh. Man, that was quite the push there by the outsiders. Well played, and of course, also some pretty good play that we had there by the players from Spaza 6 as they made that last rotation up in towards that zone. You know, forcing Mayo up on. Well, they didn't force him, but the zone forced him up, and you know, quickly sorting them out there. So pretty good play. Of course, the outsiders finishing off there on 9 kills. Spaza 6 finishing their play on 6 kills. House of Anubis coming in with 6 kills as well. In 3rd place, Temper with 1 kill in 4th. The eXiles finishing off with 5 kills in 5th place. Odyssey with 2 kills. Then, of course, we got Exist going empty-handed. Gun finishing their play, as you can see, on 7 kills. Vibe on 3. We got the Dragons finishing with 2 kills. We got Phoenix finishing with 5. Natural Killers on 0. Rain Gaming finishing on 3. Reluctant also on 3 kills. We got Ekasi going home empty-handed, as well as the players from Blink. Blink now being sent back to the lobby first for 2nd round.
Yeah, definitely not a position that they want to be in this one. It will be a little bit disheartening to see them go out so quickly, but we had some very interesting things happening across this map. You know, a lot of the zones, in fact, most of them were relatively easy. Most of the teams caught inside that first one, they didn't have to rotate up. Then the next couple of ones after that, not going too far away, teams just had to adjust themselves slightly. Everything was pretty good. So a lot of it, what it came down to is we didn't see any huge real pushes up in terms of wiping out lots of teams in the early to mid game. And that means that towards the end, in the final parts, we had a lot of teams still remaining. And a lot of that also comes down to some of the fights that were chosen. They were very difficult to pan out. Like we saw the one between Reluctant and Rain Gaming. That one took forever. You know, sometimes you can see fights happening within a matter of seconds. That one took so long because neither of those teams could take one another out quick enough. And so they just sat there trying to get the hits in, trying to make something happen. And it was very, very difficult to play around in that situation. And Reluctant didn't rotate out. They didn't back off from the fight, which meant that they were stuck in and locked into that fight. Tons of teams coming up behind them, a lot of teams coming up from behind Rain as well, which started putting in. So basically their decision to continue the fight instead of trying to disengage or something like that caused them to be exposed from behind as well as the sides. And ultimately, all those pressure points is very difficult to deal with when you're trying to focus on taking out the team that's in front of you, and there's a bunch of teams around you trying to take you out. It's difficult to play around. And in that situation, it's even more difficult to try and escape with your life or to even put the hits in. So yeah, in that point, you know, it's going to be difficult. The hits came in, team wipes came in, everything started to get chaotic in the final couple of zones. And then finally, we were left with our remaining players who had to battle it out in a very difficult spot. That zone really putting a lot of pressure on because of the way that the teams had to rotate up into that final one. We saw a couple of them in the compound, and the fact that they were there means that the teams couldn't push up as quickly as they wanted to. For instance, I think it was the Exiles and Temper. They were pushing in, and it was difficult to move past the teams that were already inside the compound. Once that blue zone came in, they were forced up. They had to make a move, otherwise they would have been taken out by the blue zone anyway. They got taken out because they had to run into the crosshairs of the enemies. And yeah, we were left with our final zone. They had some good shots in there. Spaza Six, I believe it was. They looked pretty good. They had like all 4 of their players remaining. They got taken out by the Outsiders. And then, yeah, the Outsiders just sort of took the temper, put the hits in, and well, it's done and dusted.
Yeah, well done to the teams. And yeah, as you said there, you know, we had quite a lot of action in this round. We are now, of course, moving up into our 4th and final game for the day. All right, so without further ado, let's go into the intermission while I wait for this 4th round to get started. Here we go. Woo!
But it's not okay. Whatever, can I walk away? Oh yeah. Guess I'll see your face. So tell me what to do, 'cause I can't find a way. Baby, please just tell me if I'm fine. Tell me if I'm baby, please just tell me if I'm fine. Just tell me if I'm fine.
watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. Up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my joke.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so we are getting into our fourth and final round for the evening pro series. It's week 1, season 6.
Yeah.
Patsy, you ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for this, dude. We've been ready for this. You know, we've seen the matches up until this point. We out here.
Yeah.
We're ready to see this final one. We've seen some interesting stuff happening all across the board. We've seen some teams, you know, getting taken out in some interesting ways for sure. We've seen some very difficult zones. Yeah. So we've seen things, and I guess we're ready to see the final thing for tonight, I guess.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for the last few players just to move into their position so we can get the show on the road. Yeah, ooh, we've got a little strange position here. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Coco. Coco a bit late there getting into his spot. He was in the wrong slot. All right, so we are about to start the action. All right, so there goes the map. The game has started, so we're going to see what is this, we're going to see what this round's going to bring us. Hopefully some more crazy plays as, we've had in the previous 3 rounds. I mean, some pretty hot action there.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, just because, you know, the players have had their 2 Miramar stints. They have had a chance to warm up in the beginning, of course, on that Erangel map, and so now that we've finally made that full circle, we've come all the way back to Erangel. Then, you know, we're sitting here with a potentially, you know, easier play, but also a potentially not easy play at all.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a little bit of a tough one. I mean, the players had 2 rounds where they got quite accustomed to that Miramar map, and now we're changing it up once again, taking them back into the Erangel map. So, yeah, let's see what they're going to do. The teams, of course, as you can see, we've got Gun, the Outsiders, Temper, the eXiles. We got the players there from Vibrant, or Team Vibe, whichever way you want to call it. We got the Dragons, we got Odyssey, we got House of Anubis, we've got the players from Spaza Six, we got Exist, Ekasi, Rain Gaming, The Natural Killers, Phoenix, Reluctant, and of course the players from Blink over in slot 17.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to see that flight path going all the way there from the military base, good old military base, up in towards the northwestern side there, just below Zaki. So the players here are going to be able to drop down into a couple of those spots. Of course, military base, very nice spot. Definitely hope to see a couple of teams jump in there. We might just be able to see some teams head in towards Pachinki, in towards George, as per usual. I think a lot of teams will most likely maybe make a dash for School and Rozhok as well, although Yuzhnaya will be a little bit further out of the way, along with, of course, Malta and Lipovka and all those other places that we usually see a couple of teams go to. So, yeah, the teams will be here on towards the western side a little bit more. If they want to head off towards the east, it will be a little bit more of a hike, but I guess when it comes to hiking, these players have done more than enough hiking on Miramar, so I don't think they'll be too happy with or too keen to do some more hiking now on this one. They might just want to change it up a little bit, just stay a little bit more calm on this. They don't really have to get their legs working too much now, depending, of course, on where that zone lands.
Yeah, well, we can call the Miramar map Hiker's Paradise, because, you know, that's what most of the teams do. And as you can see, the zone, though, I mean, several teams all over the place. We're waiting to see where this zone's going to shift to. And, yeah, I mean, no result just yet. Ah, there we go. Only took forever. Only took forever for that zone to shift. And we see Odyssey as well as the players there from the Dragons up in South George. Ooh, those shots already flying. Let's try and jump up into that action where we got Odyssey and the Dragons going at each other once again. Grim getting a quick hit there on Mr. Blade. Now we got Shek, Nero, and Dan just off to the side here, hoping to see some of that action.
Yeah. So the players at the moment obviously just getting their loot, making sure they're good to go for the moment. I'll be interested to see if either the Dragons or Odyssey get a little bit aggressive here, because at this point, you know, the teams, they've just gotten themselves looted and they might not know of all the positions of the enemy players. So getting aggressive now might just be a little bit of a problem for them. So they don't want to get too crazy just yet. A couple of shots flying in here and there across the map, of course, but most of the teams relatively well spread out here, relatively well set up. They're just getting themselves good to go. Of course, House of Anubis down there in the military base, just taking a couple shots at Spaza Six there. But, you know, that zone being run on top of it, basically everyone at this point, means that the teams don't really have to do anything too crazy at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And we'll see, you know, Mr. Panic here is not panicked at all. Casually strolling up right in towards Mr. Pronto. Ooh, trying to get those hits in. We can see offline just over to the east there, with the remainder of the players there, of course, now from the Spaza Six team. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen. Shots now, of course, flying back and forth. Deity and Berserk putting some shots in. They are on the prowl. Up they come. Ooh, who's going to get it? Deity gets the first one, sends Mr. offline. Now, who is left? Well, just Pronto.
Yeah, and I think his position is relatively well known at this point, so it's going to be a difficult spot to be in for him. Might just get caught out unless he can make his way out somehow. But he's just hiding behind the barrels for the time being. The rest of the teams still relatively well spread out across the map, not getting in too close just yet. A couple of teams actually, specifically Exist, taking a little bit of an excursion. It seems like they haven't done all the hiking they want to do, so they still have a bit of energy to get out of their system. They've made their way all the way up to Zaki and off to the north there, just separating themselves from the main bulk of the teams at this point, just getting themselves good to go. Pronto now taking some heavy fire from Panic, who's not going to let him escape. There goes the knock.
Yep, well, there we go. That is that's it for those two players from House of Anubis. And of course we got Mr. Unseen just rolling up behind the other two remaining players, of course, that being Mr. Storm. Well, just call it Storm again. Don't know whether it's Mr. or Miss or whichever way around. But yay, there we go. So we got Fix and of course Storm just making their way unseen now, just trying to get onto that main island. And we still have Odyssey and the Dragons up in South George there. And we of course got Temper over at the crates. As you can see, the outsiders in Rozhok. We got Vibe comfortably in school. The Natural Killers just busy farming there. The eXiles also just chilling up in Pachinki. And it seems like Unseen is now definitely trying to catch up. Oh, well, never mind. He was just trying to find another vehicle, but it was strange how he was just following right behind the players there from House of Anubis. So I think Storm and Fix might have, had a little bit of stress there for a brief moment.
Yeah, they're maybe just getting the feeling of being hunted. feeling of being watched and not sure why. Well, it's just unseen, going unseen, and really just putting himself on the pressure on the border with the roar of that motorcycle engine. But he's just going to make his way across, and well, he's pretty much separated from his entire team who's up in the north. So, I mean, he could just take a ride straight down the middle of that zone all the way to the top, and he could probably make it. I don't think anyone would expect a motorcycle just whizzing by, you know, so
well,
it's doable.
You never know, but we got some shots now flying back and forth here between Odyssey and the Dragons. A Shek taking a little bit of damage there. We got Vindog and Supreme, of course, up on that roof, trying to get those nades over towards Shek. We got Blade, of course, getting sent back to the lobby. So he's done and dusted. So Dan, Nero, and yeah, as I mentioned, Mr. Shek there, going up against the team there from Odyssey, being Supreme, Vindog, Grim, and Sidon.
Yeah, just sitting in these buildings here, trying to spot one another out, trying to get those hits in. Supreme just playing on top of this building here, just across from Shek, Wes, and Nero, of course. They're trying to put those hits in. On the other side, Dan is there. We'll see if they can land those hits. You know, they're just playing slowly for the moment, not really overcommitting to anything just yet. That zone has yet to make its way in just yet. So, of course, they still have a bit of time to work with. All the teams sitting comfortably inside that zone, just hovering around, waiting for the next one to drop.
Well, let's see what happens as Odyssey getting closer and closer to the Dragons team. But again, as you mentioned, you know, not overcommitting just yet. I think all the teams are pretty much just sitting here waiting to see what this blue zone is going to do. As you can see, it's slowly but surely closing in now. And we are looking at the players here from Blink and the Natural Killers near the Sixes here. Fairly close together. Some potential for some shots and fights. We got Juicy and Macho, as you can see, just off in the distance there. And of course, the team here from Blink, Luffy, Superior. And that's it. That's who we have here. So 2v2. I don't know where Juicy is. Juicy is, well, way off in the distance. The outside is now rolling up towards that central part of the zone. Temper also moving up. And we are seeing the players there from Ekasi. Well, just on that southwestern side. Gun also moving up bit by bit. So, well, there's some potential for action.
Yeah. One of the nicest things about players already being inside the zone and not having to rotate means they usually get a little bit antsy and they start moving in towards the central part of the zone. And when all the teams do that, that means they're like basically right across from one another, and they can just start putting the hits in and really putting the pressure onto one another and get some potential kills.
Yeah, well, Mr. Superior got potentially knocked. And now we're waiting to see, will the Natural Killers move up and play the game that we've seen them play several times. You know, it looks like they might just. We got Vile and Sela, of course, now rotating up the side here. We got Luffy and Juicy now just, well, looking quite excited, I might add. You know, making their way around as the Natural Killers now start moving up. Superior, about to get a little bit of a surprise there. So let's see.
Yeah, they're just hovering around across this hill. Natural Killers cresting over the top, trying to take a peek in towards what they're doing. A Gren perfectly going to do some damage over there towards Stella and Vile as they try and push over the hill. That could have been what they needed if they wanted to press the attack, but right now, looks like that has been enough to ward the Natural Killers, or for the moment, just push them back, just for now at least, as this blue zone now makes its way in.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. So Odyssey and the Dragons finally engaging up there in South George. Up in the north.
Yeah.
In South George. There we go. Oh, some shots flying up towards the Natural Killers once more as the players here from Blink now try and land those hits. Let's jump over here to Odyssey and see what they got cooking for us. Oh, they're moving in on the Dragons. We got Mr. Shek just dropping off the top, and Dan, the man, trying to outrun whatever's about to catch up with him.
Yeah, it looks like the Dragons are a little bit isolated there, one by one, just being taken down and picked off. And, well, he is certainly running from what's coming, and that is Odyssey's bullets heading in his direction. He's just going to take a dive straight into that water, try and escape with whatever is left of of that, a little bit of that health bar going there. And of course, the zone now moving up towards the east. Most of the teams relatively comfortable inside there already. Just a couple of them still have to make their way in. Of course, Odyssey and the Dragons being two of those teams. And Exist, yes, being the other one of those.
Woo.
It has been a long day.
Yeah, well, we can see Gun now just moving back and forth. It's almost like someone hit the rewind button, because they moved up all the way to the side and then back they go.
Yeah.
But they're now moving up into this position just over towards the southwest here of the Outsiders. You can see Gun now just scoping in, making sure that well, I'm pretty sure they know there's someone there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't see them, you know, just randomly stopping here. But you can see they're not 100% sure. But, you know, it's the odds are pretty good that they suspect someone to be nearby. So you can see Mr. Risk now just scanning the buildings off to the distance there. We got Nerf, well studying the trees. Here we go, as one does when on the map
Yeah.
here. We got Slim.
Yeah.
Slim looking at the vehicle up on that hill, just rotating off. There we go. So the teams now, well, they got a little whiff of something. Don't know what it was, but they got a whiff. Now let's see. Oh, they're going to push. And we are also now seeing the players here from Blink. Oh, down goes Luffy. Juicy now just running. Will Juicy make it? We are seeing the players there from Spaza Six now once again. Just on the side. Panic. Ooh, goes down. Will Superior come in for that first? Oh, Coco about to pop a few shots across. Juicy also still there. Superior quickly getting that health in that they need. So let's see what's gonna happen. Berserk and Deity just off in the yonder distance. Reluctant now getting hit in the kill feed by two teams. Team Vibe or Vibe. Well, I see it's Team Vibe. So Team Vibe getting hit by two players. Was no, sorry, Reluctant getting hit by Vibe. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
the
couple
wrong
of
way
teams
around.
there in the center. Temper's there, Exile's there, Reluctance there, Vibe is there. Everyone's there. You know, they're just sort of there. The rest of the teams making their way in. Of course, there are plenty of teams towards the south here that are watching. You know, the Outsiders Gun. We've got Natural Killers. We've got, of course, Juicy Superior and the team from Spaza 6 here now. Some hits going in towards the center there. The rest of the stragglers making their way in. Juicy going to put some hits into Deity. Is this fight going off the top of the hill now? Juicy trying to make it happen. Very low on HP. This is a difficult fight over the crest of this hill.
No, really is. Berserk also taking quite a bit of damage there. So Panic now, the smooth operator here, coming in all cool, calm and collected, putting those hits right into Juicy. So Superior now the last player left there to challenge them for their position, the last one from the opposition. So will Superior come in with a superior play, or well, will we see the players here from Spaza 6 getting those hits? Superior, of course, now moving up. Berserk moving up as well. Shots in, and Superior gets the hit. What a play, but gets sent back. Berserk going absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's an impressive number of hits to land. Berserk has to now put in quite a bit of healing there for his teammates. We're all down. In the meantime, of course, we've got all the players moving down there. We've got Exist moving down, Rain Gaming just off to the side of them. Odyssey actually making their way down through the blue zone. We've got Dan, who's rotated all the way around by his lonesome through the river up there towards the northwest. We have Phoenix in the western side there with Ekasi just ahead of them down to the south. Outsiders moving their way on up just towards Gun. The Natural Killers off to the side as well. Exile sitting right in the middle there with Temper as well. Vibe just up ahead. Natural Killers going to be putting some hits in towards Gun as well. Some return fire now going off there as that blue zone makes its way in, and the new zone gets chosen once again, landing nice and central there, not really putting any pressure onto the teams.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this, of course, then unfolds as Rain Gaming. You can see them fairly close here to the players from Exist. Now, they have quite some distance to cover to get it up in towards Zone. Matrix, Apollo, Nugget, and Genesis, all of them just heading out now. Apollo bumping into the corner of the building there. Watch out for that one. It's quite pointy. And then, of course, now, as you can see, the Exist team just off in the distance over towards that northwest. And the team there from Rain Gaming making a fairly successful rotation. Ekasi right here with Odyssey. Let's see who will get the shots. It's gonna be lit. 4v4, here they go.
Yeah, we'll see who gets this one now. Of course, these teams here very, very close to see if Ekasi can make this push off. It will be Odyssey who comes in with this one. You can see those Garens now just flying to try and catch the teams out. They know that if they land, they could make it happen. So there comes the Gren. It's going to knock Freezer over. Natural Killers also getting in the kill feed there. But at the moment, Odyssey now pushing up. Supreme going to get hit. Grim moving up, going to be caught out. Not expecting the player to just rush around the corner, but they will be able to take Jasmine down. This fight is just really, really messy at the moment. Sidon gonna get hit. Everyone just trying to put the hits in. The band-aids being used. Vindog trying to stay alive. Has to put so much work in on the board here. Plays from Ekasi doing some damage. Can Vindog make it happen? Sunny gets hit. Ooh. Just dancing around this wall.
Man, this is just insane. You can see the kill feed also. Gun putting some hits into the exiles. Vindog quickly sneaking up. Trying to get that res in. Let's see what will happen.
This is actually a very critical res because that's going to give them a little bit more power to move up on this board. Obviously going for the thirst there. Very nice. Just taking the numbers off the board. He can spot Hunter moving across as well. That's going to give them the key that they needed to move up on this one. But can they continue the kills? There it is. Sunny going to go down. Done and dusted. Hunter gets taken down as well. And Vindog closing that one out. Well played to the team from Odyssey there. They do finish the fight, and just in time, they might just be able to get in without this blue zone touching them. The rest of the teams have made their way in towards the zone all the way in the east there. They are sitting pretty happy. Of course, Gun right sitting there with the exiles. Just below them is Temper, who just below that is the Natural Killers as well. Byron just up ahead to the north of all of that. Rain Gaming actually sitting right there in the center of the zone, and some other straggling teams just heading around the sides.
Well, this is one of the hottest moments we've seen in Pachinki in quite some time. You know, 3 teams, 4 teams, even if Vibrow starts moving in. But it's definitely going to be pretty tight, seeing what these teams are going to do. And of course, they're all comfortably sitting in zone. You know, no need to move up just yet. We're seeing the exiles there sitting on 3 players, Gun on 3. We've got the outsiders on a full squad, as well as the team from Vibe. So it's quite evenly matched, I must say. This northern side, 3v3, 4v4, sorry, I can't count. And then, of course, we're moving up to this side where we've got Gun and the exiles, which is also then, like I said, a 3v3. And you mentioned also the Temper players right there towards the south. We've got the Natural Killers, and we're watching as the team there from Odyssey are now just trying to make their rotation up in towards the zone to get out of that blue. And yeah, in the meantime, we are looking at the players there from Reluctant very comfortably moving up. Phoenix also right there, as well as the players for Rain Gaming and Exist also now coming in. We see the team there from Vibe rolling up, kind of getting out of the area here, getting ready to move. Off they go, following closely behind the outsiders.
Yeah, so the rotation's all coming in now. You could see as Spaza Six making their way up. Odyssey just scrambling to get out of the blue in towards safety. They are making their way up momentarily. The rest of the team squishing in. We got 14 teams still alive. 44 players here coming into what is the beginning of the end here for these teams. That final zone very, very close. This one is only a couple hundred meters up. I'd say about 800 meters apart maybe. And, well, it's going to allow the teams to get those shots in across.
I mean, Vibrant just sneaking it up right behind the players here from Reluctant. Bacon now being the last hope for left. I don't know if he's going to try and get away or what's going to happen, but it's going to be a tough one either way, as there are so many teams that exist sneaking the third party in from behind. What a clutch by Clutch. But now they're getting clutched by Gun as they now move in and put those shots in. So 3 teams battling it out. Gun, Vibe, and of course the players there from Exist. Ooh.
Yeah, this thing up north that we got going here, a little bit of an interesting one. Bit of a triangle of teams there. Vibrant could put the pressure on, could potentially sandwich Gun in here.
Well, they could sandwich some gum in there as well if they really wanted to really turn it into quite a sticky situation.
Yeah, Yeah, they could do that if they wanted. Yeah. In the meantime, of course, we've got the players from the eXiles, Temper, and the Natural Killers down in there towards the southwest. We've also got House of Anubis and Spaza Six in towards the southeast. And well, the shots are heading off now. The Natural Killers putting them into Temper there. Of course, eXiles being there to just put in a little bit of pressure as well.
Yeah, and we're watching Odyssey, House of Anubis, and that Spaza Six. Right here, Phoenix just over towards the north, so it's going to be tricky for these teams, you know, quite sticky once they start rolling out. Because we might see the team there from Phoenix, you know, gatekeeping them as they try and get that rotation going. You're seeing the outsiders also now in the kill feed getting hit. The Natural Killers, of course, just over towards the west here. Ooh, the blue zone getting a quick knock there on Panda. There we go. Odyssey and the players there, of course. Well, exchanging a few hits and down goes one. Storm and Fix. Right here. Just chilling.
Yeah, we've got 13 teams left on the board here, and the zone is just really, really small to accommodate this amount of teams. So a lot of players going to get wiped around about now if they're going to try and fit their way into the zone. So all the teams not trying to make their way in, and of course that means we're going to have a lot of hits happening across the board. Phoenix going to be the ones to put those in to exist. Rain Gaming are going to be taking some shots towards the eXiles as well as they make their way up. Temper just below them, trying to push up as well. Spaza Six moving up. The Natural Killers just down towards the south as well. Some shots just going off all across the board right here.
Well, exist now really struggling to exist as the team here from Phoenix really turning up the heat. Oh, Spaza Six getting hit. You can see Odyssey now also just trying to come into that zone. The Natural Killers getting hit as well. We got Flame just on the inside of zone, just smoking it up, trying to outlast whatever is coming. The Natural Killers not doing too great at the current moment, and it's just absolute insanity on this match. Oh, match, whatever,
yeah.
Right here. As everyone is now just trying to find their spot in the zone. And none of these teams are, shying away from the shots. They are just putting it in one after the other, which of course then results in the kill feed going absolutely insane. You're hearing this nice, lovely chorus of gunshots in the background. As well, yeah, everyone just opening fire in all directions. You can see Phoenix being one of those teams suffering.
Yeah, those shots are flying at the moment. Rain Gaming putting them in towards the eXiles as well as Temper, just absolutely saying no to them trying to get up into the zone. Going to be knocking them out. Cheddar going to be straggling off to the side there. Spaza Six trying to make up from the south, but it's House of Anubis who's going to be saying no in that side. And, Gun and Dragons now going at it up there in the north as well. The shots are going at it. You can see Phoenix trying to move up here. Vibrant trying to stop them. We'll see if that can be possible. Asta putting their shots in is eventually going to get taken down. That is the end for them at the moment there. So much damage going in all across the board. We are left with 7 teams now remaining. Make that 6 as some teams getting knocked out. Deity goes down as well. Risks up in the north getting a couple of hits in his direction. House of Anubis and of course the players from Odyssey have made their way in towards the zone. As you can see on your map here, they are relatively close to one another. We'll see if they do push each other out or just stay here for the moment. Rain Gaming moving down from the north. We've got the eXiles moving in from the west as well, and Rain is still putting those hits in that direction. Not really allowing these teams to get in for free. Outsiders and Gun are going to have to try and sneak their way on in as well, because Rain Gaming looking like a powerhouse at the moment. They're occupying this building here with a full stack of players here. And you can see Nugget now making his way up. Might just run into Gun, actually. This could be an interesting one.
Well, he's risking it, and Nugget getting a beautiful hit. There we go. 4 teams remaining. House of Anubis also taking out the players there, of course. Ooh, from the eXiles, Outsiders also going down. 3 teams now left in this match, that being House of Anubis, Odyssey, and of course the players from Rain Gaming. So Rain Gaming doing quite some work in this round, I must say.
Yeah, they did a really excellent job of gatekeeping. They sat in that building there and they stopped both Temper and the eXiles from coming up into the zone. They really just put the foot down, put the shots in, and stopped a lot of players from making it in. They even took down Gun and I think as well the Outsiders. So really just a cleanup crew of note here. But can they continue the cleanup duty here? Because they have House of Anubis and Odyssey still alive, both on 2 players each to clean up here. And, well, it's going to be an interesting one because this could still go either way. Either of these teams could put a decent amount of hits in. You can see the health bars there on Rain Gaming side just need to be nursed up a little bit. So right now we're just waiting to see how these rotations come in and if the players can knock one another out here. Odyssey now moving over the hill could catch House of Anubis off guard if they're not careful.
Well, we have a 2v3v4 for this one, and Odyssey already sitting on 11 kills. Wow. That's insane. I mean, well done.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the other team's kills just yet, but I mean, 11 kills so far. That is absolute insanity. Fex, of course, now getting sent back. Now it's up to Storm. Some more hits now flying in. Fex, of course, getting thirsted there by Rain Gaming. Rain Gaming adding in a few more. Genesis now going down. Grim getting blown up there by the vehicle explosion. So some great shooting target. Now we will see how this will end. Will Storm be able to clutch it? We have the players from Rain Gaming sitting quite comfortably in that zone. Vindog and Supreme just trying to put the hits in to fend off these players. But Storm might come in with quite the third party there. Ooh, never mind. Vindog spotting him, and two teams now battling it out. A 3v3 as we go into this final zone.
Yeah. And if anyone can do it right now, it is Odyssey. If anyone can stop Rain Gaming from just the power that they've been wielding at the moment, it's Odyssey. And they started out really well, taking down Apollo. He is now knocked. Matrix now putting in the hits, trying to find them. Vindog going to be doing the ones, but it is going to be taken down by Matrix there. And
oh man, that's got a sting though. Supreme sneaking in that last one. Well, that of course being his only kill for this round. Well done. I mean, that's one way to end it off, you know?
Yeah.
Get your kill for the game by finishing it off, getting the chicken dinner. So well done to Odyssey. They managed to get themselves 16 kills.
Yeah, that is an impressive number of kills, especially to go out within first place. You know, that's a lot of points on the board for you. So yeah, well done to Odyssey. A very interesting game, a little bit more lax, at least in terms of zones. You know, it was not as insane as we've seen them throughout tonight. It's been a little bit more lax in the beginning, not forcing the teams to rotate really up too much. But that did also mean that the teams were very, very concentrated inside the zone. They were all there, and that led to a lot of sort of triangular setups, a lot of teams, you know, 3 teams getting up into a compound and sort of holding one another and waiting for something to happen. So yeah, lots of fights going on across the board, some very interesting things happening here and there, and yeah, just a nice set of games tonight overall.
Yeah, well, there we go. So Odyssey, of course, getting that chicken dinner. We got Rain Gaming coming in second place with 4 kills. We got House of Anubis finishing off in third place with only 2 kills. Outsiders going home empty-handed in fourth place. Gun in fifth with 4 kills. We got the Exiles managing to only get that 1 kill in 6th place. And of course, Spaza Six finishing their play off with 8 kills. We got Vibrant with, well, 7 kills in 8th place. We got Exist with 1 kill in 9th. Phoenix with 4 kills in 10th. The Dragons with also only 1 kill in 11th place. Temper with 1 in 12th place. The Natural Killers with 2 in 13th. Reluctant with, well, no kills. We've got Ekasi also only with 1 kill. And then Blink, yet again, the first team back into the lobby. Only 1 kill to their name. And almost all the kills going to, well, I would almost say the top 2 teams there. Because they did pretty much all the work for this round.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting round for sure, and we saw some interesting things happening. A couple of different situations that worked out interestingly, to say the least. Yeah. But I think we've had a very nice series of games here tonight. You know, very definitely keeping all the players on their toes, keeping the teams on their toes. You know, you never really want you know, your team to grow complacent or relaxed or sort of used to the status quo. So you know, it's always that's one of the nice things about the zones. You know, we never see them really be exactly the same. They can always pull a fast one on you when you least expect it. Yeah. So yeah, definitely good to see. You know, just keeping those players on their toes and honest there. So yeah, a very nice set of games this evening, played out very interestingly, and yeah, well played to all the teams, and of course looking forward to the rest of the leagues going forward.
Yeah, well, there we go. There we have it. So, yeah, that kind of wraps it up for us here for tonight. So, thank you so much to all the teams for participating. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. Yeah, we had actually had quite a few viewers watching today, so thank you so much to everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, and of course, yeah, we'll be back on Monday with our open series, so don't forget to tune in for that. And yeah, from us here over on this little corner of where we're sitting, it's gonna be the end. It's gonna be a wrap. Yes, this corner of the circle. We're gonna say goodnight, and yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and yeah, see you soon. All right, so without much further ado, of course, when I can click all the right buttons over here. All right, here we go.